Good afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday. I know it feels like a Monday, even though most of us are working from home. Yesterday being Memorial Day, it just kind of threw things off, right? Today, I want to do something a little bit different. Each week that I've been coming to you, I think ahead of time about a topic or what I want to talk to you about. And when I get stuck, I just, pray about it and say, what am I supposed to share today? What am I supposed to talk about? So, to that end, today the word grace came to mind, and specifically grace for your pace, grace for your race. And that when I say your, I'm talking every bit as much to myself as I am to anyone. So, please don't think that I am, of this holier than thou mindset that I've got it all figured out. I absolutely do not. And that is exactly what my business is established on, is me walking the journey with you and just sharing the things that I have found that have worked. So to that end, today is about grace. And as soon as the word came to mind, I immediately thought of a blog post that I had written a while ago. So in looking it up and going back and seeing what that blog post was, there are actually two, but I'm going to share one with you today, and I'll post the link to that one as well as to the other one that I wrote before. I know this sounds all cryptic and backwards or whatever, but to give you a little bit of a history, in 2018, my word for the year was grace. And I have been choosing a word for the word of the year for myself for the last, this year is the 8th year. Yes, this year is the 8th year of my choosing a word. And in the very beginning, I thought, okay, I'll try this. I'll set my intention for the year, and that'll be my word for the year. And I would find verses that would correlate with that word for the year to help keep it in front of me. And as the years went on, I got a little more scared about picking my word, because not only did it hold me accountable to what it is that I was striving for that year, or maybe it was something that I needed to learn that year or improve myself in. As the years went on, I realized it's not so easy. So in 2018, when the word grace came to mind as being my word of the year, I was like, oh, I don't know. I tried hard not to embrace this word grace, because I was afraid, did it mean that something was going to happen that I needed to give grace to someone who either hurt me or wronged me or whatever? Or the flip side of that, was I going to screw up so bad in 2018 that I was going to need someone else's grace towards me? Well, 2018 kind of turned out being all of that. So this blog post that I'm going to read to you comes 6 months after probably the most devastating thing I've ever had happen to me in my life to date. Totally threw me, changed my perspective, everything. So this is 6 months after that perspective. Now, in the comments, I am going to post the blog post that I wrote a month before that life-changing event happened. And it was about grace, and specifically about moving with grace when it comes to our goals and what we hope to achieve. Okay, so keep that in mind. This is 6 months after that perspective on grace. Okay. So this one is titled, What Do You Think of When You Hear the Word Grace? How about when you see the word grace? For most of us, it's not a common vernacular we use every day, right? Yet every day is just full of it if we take our time to see it. You may be thinking at this point, what on earth am I talking about? See, I'm still navigating some really hard things in my life right now. Some are the result of my own choices and decisions, and others by far not mine. Earlier this year, I wrote about giving you some grace when it comes to moving towards your goals. And that's the one that I'm going to post in the comments. That was 6 months before this post. At that time, the word grace was on the forefront of my mind because it was my 2018 word, a word I was totally resistant to accept because I knew that I would need to be on both the receiving and the giving end of grace. Nevertheless, I couldn't shake that it was supposed to be my word, and I went on accepting grace as my word. Since accepting grace as my word, I never have been more aware of what I suspected. I needed to receive it as much as I needed to give it. Well, the last 5 months in particular have been the hardest I've ever faced. I'd love to hold out hope that these past months will be the hardest I've ever faced, but I'm young enough to live a while longer and old enough to know better, right? Isn't that any of us? Here's the part that I really wanted to share with you, and hopefully it will prove to be an encouraging perspective for you. In all honesty, that's my hope for all of my posts. This perspective came to me the other day when I was just staring at my word for the year, grace. Yes, I write my word for the year and I keep it where I can always see it. What I saw within the word grace was this, gur. Literally, that's what I saw, GR, as in grrr, reminding me that sometimes things just seem to get too stinking hard. But before I could whine about that, I saw race, RACE, which reminded me to stay the course. Remember that I'm in it for the long haul and to stay focused on my race. The part of this that really struck me was, a little bit of an envy over other people's races that I've been keeping an eye on, their records and trophies and their special pit crews. But it also reminded me that as much as those I love are hurt or hurting, I can't run their race for them. That's really tough for any of us. And finally, I saw the word ace. I know, this one seemed odd even to me, but there it was right at the end of the word grace. So that got me scratching my head. What's my ace? Who are my aces? What can I do to be an ace for someone else? My encouragement and challenge to you today is to remember to give grace as much as you need it. And together we can make a big difference in each other's lives. We each have parts of this thing called life kind of figured out, but no one on this side of heaven has it all figured out. Seeking grace for the race, right there with you, Dina. So that was a post that I wrote about grace in August of 2018. And for whatever reason, grace was on my radar today, and specifically to share it with you. So I'm going to post that blog post that I just read to you in the comments. And I'm also going to add to it the post that I wrote 1 month before my whole perspective about grace and race and all of that changed. And that's called Hey Goal Getter, Move with Grace. I hope that you find encouragement each time you come. That is my goal. And this whole coming live on Tuesdays is very new to me. And I don't know. I don't know where it's going to lead. I don't know where it's going to lead for me. And I don't know where it's going to lead for you. But I am committed to show up each week How about you? I hope that you have a great day. And I look forward to seeing you over on the blog. Check for those two that I'm going to drop in the links for you or in the comments for you right now. And I'll see you back here live next week. Thanks.